My name is Danny Kuan. I'm Lee Ka-shing Professor in Economics here at the Lee Kuan Yew School and Vice Dean of Academic Affairs. It's my great pleasure this afternoon to welcome all of you and to chair this afternoon's lecture by the Governor of Tokyo, the Honorable Yuriko Koike. Let me just say, the Honorable Governor is visiting Singapore for just a very short period of time under the auspices of the Lee Kuan Yew Exchange Fellowship. You might already know this Exchange Fellowship is a long-standing program run by Singapore that invites the most outstanding personalities from around the world to visit us, to, among other things, meet with Singapore's governmental leadership. Very rarely, once in a while, the people who come under this fellowship agree also to speak to the Singapore public. We are very lucky indeed that this afternoon is one of those occasions. And this afternoon's meeting is the lucky result from that convergence of possibilities for us here at the Lee Kuan Yew School. The governor has agreed to speak for about 20 minutes, leaving as much time as we can get for question and answer session. Let me not take up any more time, but invite you to join me in welcoming the Honorable Governor onto the stage.
Actually, it was 2006, when I invited Dr. Kishore Mahbani as my fashion collections model. I started a campaign called Cool Biz while I was a Minister of the Environment. It's a very simple campaign because in Asia, we are sharing such a humid and hot summer days. I thought it is not wise to close the neckline and put a thick jacket on during summertime. So my campaign is very easy and simple. Let's liberate from thick jackets and ties. I was almost sued by necktie producer, by the way. And in order to show people the good example, so I invited many Asian people, models. And from Singapore, representing Singapore, Dr. Kishore Mahbani walk the runway this way, like a good fashion model with Singaporean outfit. And also I invited other Asian ambassadors serving in Tokyo, such as Oki Wang Yi, Mr. Wang Yi, the current Secretary of State, Foreign Affairs of China, and Korean ambassador, Malaysian ambassador, and many others. So, in order to combat the climate change, we start from the very easy place, or the why this climate change occurred. Our lifestyle brought this climate change, no? So what we have to do what we have to challenge is to look at ourselves once again and think what we should do and act what we should do. This is my slogan. And Dr. Kishore Mahbani accepted my invitation to be the model, fashion model. Anyway, thank you very much for the invitation to this wonderful occasion. And it's a great honor to have this opportunity to speak here today. Now, I have been very much looking forward to visiting Singapore, a place roughly the size of central Tokyo, but with an extremely strong economy. It's wonderful to experience Singapore's energy for myself and meet and exchange opinions with experts in a number of fields. Last year, Singapore and Japan celebrated 50 years of diplomatic relations. For the past half century, we have been partners in a wide range of fields such as economics, social infrastructure, and education. When I came to Singapore, I was impressed by how safe and beautiful it was. In fact, I understand that Singapore implemented a community policing model based on Japan's Koban system in 1980s. Japan's system of Koban, or police boxes, is aim at creating a safer society based on trusting relationships with citizens in a community. This system was first developed in Tokyo about 140 years ago and has since spread throughout Japan. I have heard that this model has evolved into a system ideally suited to Singapore's individual circumstances. I believe that a reputation for safety is one of the key reasons Singapore is recognized as such a great place to live. Safety, a characteristic Singapore and Tokyo share, was highlighted when the Economist Intelligence Unit listed both areas in its Safe Cities Index 2017. Tokyo was elected first in overall safety, followed by Singapore, as Tokyo aims to become a financial and economic hub that is open to the world. Placing alongside Singapore at the top of this list is hugely encouraging to me. Singapore and Tokyo also frequently collaborate in the areas of culture and education. As just one example, the School of Design and Environment at the National University of Singapore and the Tokyo Metropolitan University's Urban Environmental Sciences Department officially agreed on a system of academic cooperation in 2015. In addition, earlier this year, we agreed on the eco-tutorial student exchange program with placements beginning in October. I hope that this will expand opportunities for us to learn from each other. Singapore and Tokyo, however, face many similar problems, including a declining birth rate, an aging population, and various environmental issues. By combining our knowledge and experience and strengthening our cooperative's effort, I believe that Singapore and Tokyo can take the lead in resolving the problems that Asia faces and that we may work together to contribute to the well-being of people all across the world. Now, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the initiatives we have established for the grand reform of Tokyo. We are emphasizing disclosure, transparency, and wise spending. Through this grand reform, I'm working to create a new Tokyo that is 3 cities in one. A safe city where people feel more secure, more at ease, and can live more vibrant lives. A diverse city where everyone can lead fulfilling lives and actively participate in society, and a smart city that is open to the world and a leader in the fields of the environment, international finance, and business. What comes to mind when you think of Tokyo? To me, Tokyo is a city where tradition and innovation intersect. In order to express this unique aspect of our metropolis, we created a new logo and marketing slogan, Tokyo, Tokyo, old meets new. We've been additionally created a promotional videos which features this new logo. While Singapore pursues Smart Nation initiatives relying on IT to improve economy and lifestyles, Tokyo aims to be a smart city by leveraging finance and environmental efforts to achieve a sustainable society. Firstly, I'd like to focus today on that concept of Tokyo as a smart city and our efforts to establish it as a hub of international finance. Tokyo's GDP of GMP amounts to approximately 850 billion US dollars, accounting for around 20% of Japan's GDP. Tokyo is also home to about half of the total number of companies in Japan with capital of nearly $9 million, around 3,000 in all. I hope to take advantage of this economic potential to draw more capital, people, and information into our city from all around the world. To this end, over the last year, we have held continued discussions with experts in these fields, and just the other day, we announced the plan we call the Tokyo Financial Big Bang. One of the pillars of this plan is to make our city more appealing to international businesses and to encourage more foreign companies to come to Tokyo. New initiatives have already been put in place. For example, we coordinated with the national government's Financial Services Agency to create a financial one-stop support service providing integrated solutions to help international financial firms resolve the issues they may face when setting up in Japan. Well, it is somewhat notorious that the sectionalism in Japan, as well as other countries, this caused a sort of hesitation to come up to Tokyo to start the new business. So I understand that NUS Enterprise operated by the National University of Singapore runs incubator programs that support new businesses and breed a startup culture successfully. In Tokyo, we are also providing various programs to help startups. For example, this year, we launched a new accelerator program called FinTech Business Camp Tokyo as part of our efforts to attract foreign financial firms with advanced technologies and cutting-edge business models to Tokyo. We selected several firms from a number of international fintech startups that applied. One of those is a Singaporean company called Monether. And this entity offers AI software that analyzes credit card information and bank transaction to provide customers with the best financial service options. We hope this program will inspire more widespread adoption of other advanced fintech services. In addition, this year Tokyo established the Acceleration Program in Tokyo for Women, or APT, Apt Women, a program that supports female entrepreneurs. Under this program, female entrepreneurs receive advice from highly experienced business people and are given the opportunity to travel to New York and other entrepreneurial hubs to present their ideas. Singapore is one of the leading entrepreneurial countries in Southeast Asia, and we plan to send selected members here during the fiscal year of 2018. So, Dr. Would you please receive them? Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Because I'm the very first female governor of Tokyo. In order to enhance the power of Tokyo, why don't we make good use of half of the population, women? So this is what I think. Now, as our society ages and we face a shrinking workforce, I believe it's essential to increase female participation in the economy and make more use of women's potential. Singapore has always evolved with great energy in a way that has inspired us in Tokyo. I hope that we may also serve as inspiration to Singapore and that we both prosper as hubs of the Asian economy. And of course, the resulting economic development must be sustainable. In 2015, a United Nations Summit adopted Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs), qualifying global priority issues for 2030. The Paris Agreement was also adopted as a new framework for addressing climate change. As part of this broader movement, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government (TMG) is also focusing on ESG. This year, we will issue about 175 billion US dollars in Tokyo green bonds aimed at procuring capital for investment in environmental initiatives. We also plan to create a commendation program to recognize firms that utilize financial services to help to advance worldwide trends in ESG investment. We hope to receive interest in this initiative from many firms, both in Japan and from overseas. In addition, we plan to introduce an emerging manager program for institutional investors and other market participants to nurture asset managers. We believe that by following the example of Singapore and other countries, as well as introducing such programs in Tokyo, we will strengthen the asset management industry, which will lead to economic growth. To be a leading city in international finance, Tokyo needs to focus on sustainability and ESG. I believe that to achieve sustainable growth, it's important to continually spark innovation in both the finance and environmental sectors and maintain progressive action. Last month in Paris, I attended steering committee meeting for the C40 Cities Climate Leadership Group, as well as City Lab 2017, where I held discussions with leaders from around the world regarding global problems such as climate change and achieving sustainable growth. These opportunities reinforced for me how important it is for leaders of major cities to come together to share knowledge and experience and work cooperatively to help find creative resolution for these global issues. I would now like to introduce some of the measures that Tokyo is pursuing in becoming a smart city as an environmental leader. Based on the long-term goals of the Paris Agreement, Tokyo has set a 2030 target of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 30% compared to levels from year 2000. In the fiscal year 2010, Tokyo introduced the world's first city-level cap-and-trade programs for large facilities, including office buildings. By fiscal year 2015, total CO2 emissions from these facilities were considerably reduced down to 26% from the benchmark year. Going forward, we will continue to develop sustainably in order to become a truly matured society that exists in harmony with the environment. Our ultimate goal is to establish Tokyo as a zero-emission city. Increasingly, there are movements among nations worldwide to address environmental issues stemming from the use of automobiles. The UK and France have announced policies to ban the sale of gasoline and diesel vehicles by 2040, as you know. And China is working towards regulating fossil fuel-powered cars as well. Tokyo's air quality has steadily improved over the years, coming to meet many environmental standards for pollutants as a result of numerous efforts, including nation-leading measures regarding diesel vehicles, with our goal of making Tokyo an environmental leader. I also hope to promote our electric and fuel cell vehicles in our city. One of the UN's SDGs is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns with a specific target of cutting per capita global food waste by half by 2030 among retailers and consumers. However, annual food loss for all of Japan is on the rise. It is estimated to be equivalent to the amount of food consumed by Tokyo's 13 million residents in a year. In response to this, Tokyo Metropolitan Government is currently formulating a plan to reform food manufacturing, distribution, and consumption with the aim of establishing a method for reducing food loss. This will require everyone to change the way they think about waste. There is a word in Japanese to express regret at the waste of something that is still useful, that is, mottainai. It conveys in a single term the 3 R's concept of reduce, reuse, and recycle, while also expressing respect for things that can still be utilized. I want to clearly convey the concept of mottainai to the world. As we look to the 2020 Tokyo Games, we are making preparations with this concept in mind, mottainai. We are currently cooperating with the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee to collect used and outdated cell phones and small electronics that will be turned into the medals presented to Olympians. Over 70,000 devices have been donated at the TMG building alone. Utilizing this urban mining, we hope to produce 5,000 medals. This morning, I had the opportunity to meet Prime Minister Mr. Lee Hsien-loong, and he gave me this, the old cell phone. Yes. I want to add one thing. This case, plastic case, is a floppy disk case. So this is the concept of mottainai. And one cell phone contains 0.04 grams of gold and 0.2 silver and 12 grams of bronze. So why don't you participate? The new game, recycling and make the medals for the gold medalist and silver. Maybe you invest and you can get as a medal, like a swimming in Rio. I think the Singaporean got the gold medals. You're right, right? And also the Paralympic Games, Singapore got some medals, I remember. So why don't you invest and bring them back to Singapore? Now, the Tokyo 2020 Games will emphasize sustainability, and we hope to use this opportunity to show the world a model sustainable society. Quality of life and consideration for the environment are vital to a sustainable society. Like Singapore, we want to make Tokyo smoke-free, and we hope to accomplish that by Tokyo 2020. We will also eliminate barriers around the city, making it accessible for all. In addition to this, we plan to make Tokyo CO2 emission-free for 4 days during the opening and closing days of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic and Paralympic opening and closing, altogether 4 days. In this initiative, which we are calling Tokyo Zero Carbon 4 Days in 2020, emissions will be offset by the cap and trade program I mentioned earlier. We also plan to develop the Olympic Village into a model sustainable hydrogen society once Tokyo 2020 is over. I hope that Singapore and Tokyo will strengthen relations and continue to cooperate towards 2020 and beyond. And I have high hopes that everyone here, especially the students at this wonderful university, will serve to bridge our societies so that we can lead the way to social reform, sustainable Asia, and sustainable world. Let's work together to create a brighter future. Thank you very much.
Now, some years back, as you know, with the way the world was going, there emerged, so many people were moving into cities from rural areas that it was, for the first time ever in human history, some years back, more people on Earth lived in cities than outside cities. Given the kind of leadership that we've just seen from the governor of Tokyo, I think the move is not just for people to move into cities, but many of us would like to go live in the city of Tokyo under such leadership, under such forward-looking leadership. Thank you very much for that vision. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we've got time for a couple of questions. So may I invite those of you who wish to ask questions, perhaps you could put up your hands.
My question to you is regarding women empowerment and inclusion in the workforce. So I want to know from your experience, what are the major challenges in having women participate in the workforce, and how to encourage entrepreneurship among women?
I always challenging taking risks, and even though if I fail, then that will give me a good experience. And I'm not a good model, but I hope that many other female followers come to, try to challenge whatever she wants to do. And the life is only once, so why don't we try once?
Absolutely.
Yes. So please do your best and challenge whatever you want.
Now my question is that what is Tokyo's cap and trade program? How it has reduced the emission?
It's one of the type of reducing CO2. Cap and trade. The winner can sell the interest to other losers, so that the more you reduce the CO2, then you get the reward. And others who fail to do so have to buy this interest or the so it's a punishment and reward, both. Yeah, and at the end of the day, the society will enjoy the less CO2 emission. I mean, GHG gas, greenhouse gas emission down. So this is one of the way, but it's not so easy to convince society, because people would like to seek cheaper and easier things. And in order to keep the sustainability, we have to challenge something. And if we select easier and cheaper manner, then the society will easily collapse. So I think this is the time that we share the concept of sustainability, and we share the responsibility, and in order to keep the society more sustainable. And ESG is one of the methods, and also to pursue the SDGs, also the based upon the same philosophy. So I think Singapore University and School of Public Policy will lead this concept, and to achieve the very best manner.
You mentioned the ESG investment. Many of you may not use ESG. ESG means environmental social governance. It's a term used in financial sector. I'm surprised you mentioned it as a governor. So I understand that you have many environmental programs, but I want to know what are the social and governance programs you are planning to implement.
Well, first of all, I took the initiative to issue the green bond. So that's for E, the environment. And social and governance, we are preparing for the other policies. We have the set of policies. Because of the time restriction, I haven't explained the whole thing. But social, which means society, to keep the richer society, not material, but more, socially, to enhance the transparency of administration and many others. And governance is also disclosure of the administration is also enhance the governance of the governance of city.
You've crafted for us such an inspiring vision.
Thank you.
We feel blessed that
Yes.
you talk about Singapore and Tokyo in the same breath. We are two cities. We are forward-looking, progressive, modern, trying to do the best things possible. And you have drawn out for us such an exciting program of change in Tokyo. We feel inspired, and we hope that you will be able to come back and speak to us again very soon. Could I invite you to join me in a round of thanks for the
Thank
government?
you.